No, well, we actually didn't have that one in August.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, we can call the meeting to order. Do we do attendance?
No.
Okay. Approval of the minutes from the April 24th, 2025 Parks and Rec Committee.
We
There
do have
was-
we do have one change was to the attendance. Shauna's name was not put in there,
Okay,
so we'll need to add that.
so motion to approve the minutes as amended by staff to add Shauna's name.
Second. All in favor?
I
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we will move on to number 3 on the agenda, the staff report.
So staff reports, for Diamond Crest parking lot and trail update. Kind of a background of what's been going on there most of the summer. None of it's good news in a sense because it's just been a lot of finding water lines that are cracked, leaks in the splash pad that were being exposed. So it was a lot of chasing water for about 3 to 4 months from when they broke ground in April, or it was May they broke ground. And then it was just a crazy wet summer. It just feels like it rained about once a week. But I brought Public Works in on it because some of the stuff got a little over my head to engineering and to compaction, what it needed to be. So Public Works and we worked closely together with Hoy Excavation, who are working to evaluate the full scope of the issue. We since right around Labor Day, we found a solution, worked that out, and they're working to complete that project before the winter. So, street department, if you see them, thank them because they did a lot of work to help save the city money. They did it in-house by laying some large gravel rock down to help compact that, and then Hoy Excavating is going to take it from there, putting some geotech to help with stabilization once the asphalt goes on. So they are doing the project across the street from the splash pad from Diamond Crest Park on a new subdivision there. So they're hoping to get their asphalt in here in the next few weeks. And so when they do that, they'll most likely start ours as well. So it's ready for asphalt, just kind of get that in before the winter. So good news on the back end after all said and done through a long summer that this project is supposed to be done before May, for the end of May. And now we're in October. So, and then the OK Railroad Trail is out to bid finally. So we got word from DNR that everything in our grant proposal was good. Our bid packet was approved as well. And so that was out for bid. We are looking to open up applications next week. And then from there, we'll pick the appropriate bidder from that. Most likely it's going to take DNR probably another month or so to approve them as a contractor. And then obviously we're in winter time. And so we are putting them to not start till next year once the weather has warmed up. And we'll hopefully have our parking lot and the trail completed by the time the splash pad opens next May. Haunted Campground is this weekend. Reservations that opened up on August 1st. It sold out less than 8 minutes. The committee and I and Alex has done a lot of work on getting this around and together. So we're excited. We're hoping for another big crowd after the large crowds that we've gotten the past couple years. We think we've got it down to a T now. So our meetings were a lot quicker, a lot more efficient. But yeah, definitely due to Alex on getting that organized and things like that. So appreciate that. Staffing changes. So Mark Fairchild, he was been with us for 2 years, completed his last day back in October, or not October, back in August. He was an outstanding employee and will be greatly missed. His position, so there's been a lot of work going on the backside of trying to get a parks and facilities manager, which would be fully over the Parks Maintenance Division. It was in the budget last year. It was pulled due to just revenues and what it was going to look like. Got it back in this year's budget. Around August, there was some different changes on what expenses were going to be. It was pulled, but then we got it back in the budget. And so we already had the crew leader posted for Mark's position. Now that the Parks and Facilities Manager position is back in the budget and we had first approval a couple nights ago, and then we're going to have second approval here coming up. We pulled the crew leader position, are going to post a park maintenance worker position, and then we'll have the manager position above that. So we'll have Parks and Facilities Manager and then 3 maintenance workers underneath there. So we'll add one more to the front line and then have 1 manager. Community Awards Banquet, we're going to talk a little bit more of that here coming up, so I won't give too much of that, but it is February 26th, and it's going to be a night of an Enchanted Honors at White Iron Ridge. So make sure you put that date on your calendar for February 26, 2026. And then I kind of put some stats on here for the senior center. This was in in August staff update, but I wanted to put it up there again because the senior center is continuing to grow. We just submitted quarter 3 back on October 10th, and we outdid quarter 2 again. So kudos to Amy for the work she's doing over there. Seniors are really loving what's the scheduling and the programs that are going on, and we're excited to continue going into that. We were awarded, not officially awarded yet, but we applied for $69,000 in grant funding for 2026. To put that in comparison to this year, we got 60,000. We didn't get the full 69. We got 66,000, which is still a great increase because our expenses have gone up, just the programs and supplies and the amount of people who are attending the senior center. And then we did get our 8,000 for fitness grant again. So excited to continue those programs. Alex, you want to do your recreation report?
Yes. Okay. I just have a quick report here. Things are starting to slow down, I think. Sports, soccer has 2 more days of games left. They'll be done next Saturday. Volleyball is almost done too. They will be over next week. We play in a league with Platte City and Kearney for volleyball. And right now we have 8 teams total. Platte City has 3 and Kearney has 4. And that's like double from last year. So we are almost maxed out on gym space at the school. So we might have to brainstorm something on what to do next year. We've already been talking about it, but volleyball was booming over the past year. Don't know why. T-ball's over with, and basketball deadline is this Sunday, and that's our last sport for the year. And then all of our spring sports will open on January 1st. And then I have updated sports numbers, and Aspen did facility numbers for us. Right now, oh yes, go ahead.
So as you can see, we did have a little bit decrease in soccer participation, but we had a larger increase in volleyball. Definitely could be interacted there. We also didn't have the older division this year. We had Alex and I talked, and last year we really forced the older division, and it ended up being kind of one of the divisions we had the worst problems with of just wasn't quality. We had to mix things around. And this year we got just under the same numbers as last year, and we just kind of had to make a call of quality over it just wouldn't have been a good product, and that's what we didn't want to put it out there again for a second year. So numbers a little down there, but happy that volleyball increased, and litter kickers is also going well now. We contracted some of those out as well. So.
Yep. And when I left today, I had 135 in basketball, which is probably going to be on track for the deadline on Sunday. And then I gave you guys our rack card of the rest of the events for the year. There's a few left after the haunted campground. You can see them on there. And then can't remember if I talked about our sponsorship package in our last meeting, but kind of soft launched our sponsorship package this summer. And then I'm going to full out start advertising it our new budget year in November. But as of now, we have a few sponsors for the haunted campground and then one for our monthly newsletter. So for just barely advertising it, it's pretty good
Mhm.
return on that. I think that's all I have. Unless you have any questions.
Do you have a date for Christmas parade? Have you heard from them at all?
Yeah, that first Saturday,
Okay,
which we'll do the mayor's Christmas tree lighting that day as well. And
before again,
yeah, we have, it's on Friday is the candy cane hunts.
okay,
The sixth.
Saturday,
Saturday is the Candyland Christmas with the chamber. The parade is that night, and then we'll do the Merry Christmas tree lighting.
yeah, and if we do the turkey trot again next year, we need to make sure that goes, since we put CIAs on here.
Yeah. Yeah, we put CIAs on there because we are partnered with them, with the city. We haven't really officially put anything together with New Hope in that. More or less, I think we helped with the event fee for sponsorship.
And then, did you see the packet for the board meeting?
Yes.
So I know it's not really parks, but it's still kind of trail-ish, commercial.
Yes, yeah. The sidewalk improvements from the high school or from basically 92 down to Meadow down here. Through commercial is back on the agenda to have the concrete work continue to be completed this winter.
They're anticipating by end of year.
Yeah. Which in all retrospect, gets a safe route from downtown all the way out to Emerald Ridge Park with improved sidewalks.
It pretty much gets us, once Fairview Crossing's done, it gets us from 144th all the way to the dam with a safe route, and then, or eventually we'll get over to, and then
Yeah.
once we do the Riverwalk, it'll get us all the way to the Platte County line.
Which side of commercial was it?
It is on the east side.
You said? Yeah, West Side already has sidewalks, and we
They're not.
don't want
great
kids
sidewalks.
yeah, and we don't want kids crossing, so we'd rather leave those as they are for now, and then yeah, you can't get a grant really for tear out and replace of old on the non-school side. They got a lot of the retaining walls started, dug out. There's not a ton to, that's why they say 68-day construction timeline.
They had the contractor they had on there went out of business mid-project.
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions on staff report? Anything that's going on?
For the volleyball, when you say running out of gym space, do you all travel to Kearney and Platte City?
We
Or-
do for games,
For
but we
games.
use the high school for our practices and our home games.
Okay, and
Yeah.
that's when running out of space with practices.
Are we in
Yeah.
high school and
So
Horizon?
back just 2 years ago, we used to use the gym space Monday, Tuesday, games Wednesday, and then practice Thursday again. The high school asked us if we could condense that into, 1 day for practice, 1 day for games, because at the time we had the numbers of participants that we could do we could do 3 nets that go across the high school floor. And do 2 practice slots, so a 6 o'clock or a 5:30 and then a 7 o'clock, 7:30, whatever it may be. But now that our numbers grew, it's harder to get everyone in one space. And then also this year we had a lot of gym conflicts with the high school, and so we had to rent space at Grace Church. We use Maple, but they don't have volleyball nets there. We're using PE nets for that. So it was getting a little chaotic on where we could go for that, because then the aux gym was used by flag, archery, and cheer. So the aux gym wasn't available, so we just had the main gym, which only has 3 nets. So 3 teams can only use it at once.
I
But
mean, Liberty has the same issue
Yeah.
with, not enough courts and the schools needing them more and more and
Mhm.
yeah, because they're doing activities as well. Just more indoor space is needed.
What helps us a lot is basketball. We use the elementary gyms where there's not a lot of after school activities going on there.
Mhm.
And so we may have to look at some kind of cost share to see if we can get into the gym over there, but just not knowing what equipment is needed, because we're pretty sure in talking with Aspen and Alex that Maple and Horizon don't have the post holes.
for a
But then you're
volleyball
only
net.
gonna get one net in there at one time, so it's like we're gonna have to try to figure out some creative way, especially if volleyball is gonna have a huge increase like it had this year. It's kind of
Isn't the middle school have the actual volleyball courts now as well?
They also have practices over
Their own
there.
activities.
Yeah, they have volleyball after. They have middle school volleyball. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So, and they do practices after class.
Would it be possible to move to the weekends?
We did it on Sundays before, and during the week is where we kind of want to be at. Yeah.
Did you talk to Family Worship Center?
We had not got to talk to them yet.
Okay, so they're, I think, because that's where
Mhm.
we vote, isn't their gym? It's
Mhm.
pretty good size. Yeah, there's not a lot of gyms.
Mm-mm.
The school noticed the issues, and they had talked to me, Solomon Ad Chamber.
3 a.m. practice.
Yeah, they talked to me about looking at a solution for next year of what that may be. We may have to go back to multiple times a week. That way we could get more options that way. But
Yeah.
one day a week may just be too much if we're at this size.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
But even basketball, I mean, basketball using 2 gyms where we get maxed out. There were,
They do half court practices.
yeah, they do half court practices, and they used to do 3 times a week, but we knocked that down to 1 to 2 times a week. We have talked to them about using Eagle because right now we only get permission to use Maple and Horizon.
It's their kids. So, I mean, that's what we always go back to. Like, it's the school district's kids a lot of times.
Yeah.
I
that
mean,
we're-
this might be way out of perspective, but like, would it be worth it to purchase the nets and then bribe the school with that?
That's kind
You
of
know what I mean? Like,
that's kind of what
hey,
I want to do, rather than us just being like, give it to us,
Right.
to doing some kind of cost share. If like we
Mhm.
could donate some
A
equipment.
net per school
Mhm.
and some balls. and, like,
Correct.
Can we practice?
I
And then
think
you
that, I
get
think
3
that's, I think
gyms.
that would be the best way to go about it.
The new ones we have at Grace too have like the suction cut bases, which are
Mhm.
nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
poles?
Mhm.
Oh,
They
didn't
roll
know
out
they
and then
made
you-
those.
That would be our strategy for sure.
Right.
So you don't have to have the hole in the ground.
Yeah.
And the practice nets that the volleyball team uses are so old anyway, you might even be able to buy those off them and then
Yeah.
they would just buy new ones.
Yeah. Agreed.
Good idea. Okay. Anything else for the staff report? Okay, we can go on to number 4, the community awards banquet.
Yeah, so the Smithville Community Awards Banquet is scheduled for February 26th, 2026. It is the Parks and Recreation Legacy Fund, in collaboration with the City of Smithville, is partnering with the Smithville Area Chamber of Commerce to host a Night of Enchanted Honors at White Iron Ridge. This gala dinner celebrates outstanding citizens and dedicated volunteers in our community while raising vital funds for both the Parks and Recreation Legacy Fund and the Smithville Chamber of Commerce. Just as a quick note, the Legacy Fund is where our donations go from the community to help fund a park project in the future. The Legacy Fund has 4 board members on it, and back 2-3 years ago, they decided that they wanted to dedicate the funding towards the stage that is supposed to be at Heritage Park in a future project. Following last year's event, the banquet committee and staff agreed that it'd be important to have the Parks and Recreation Committee play a more active role in the banquet, as it directly supports major parks and recreation projects. After discussion, it was decided that the committee thinks it'd be best to assist with the silent auction. Haley, our chair, has supported this portion of the event for the past 3 years. It'll be recommended that, that you guys could volunteer for that and help Haley out. Over the past 3 years, it's just been her and maybe one more volunteer on that. So she kind of is getting it down to a T herself, and definitely could use some volunteers for that night. If you are able to attend, it'd be highly recommended. I think it's a really great event. I think once you guys see it in person, you guys will really understand the value that comes to it. I know Leah's been there, been nominated for some awards for her business. Damien has come and got a table. Alex has been there as well, sat with us. So if you guys can't make it that day, be highly recommended. If you're not able to attend, just let me know as soon as possible. That way Haley and I can work together and make sure that she's got the support needed for the event.
It's great
I
food.
will I will go ahead and commit. Unless we're still in quarantine, I'll go ahead and commit. I've helped with a lot of fundraisers in the past, so I have no problem committing.
Yeah,
We definitely
still-
need you on this one,
We,
Sean.
we need people to help guard the table for sure. And take payments at the end and help make sure things are, people aren't just rushing and grabbing stuff without sign off,
Yeah.
so.
Not a
The
problem.
food's- the
I've
food's
done quite a few of
fantastic, the
them,
venue's
so.
fantastic.
Yeah, and the Parks and Recreation will have it, if we need to have a table, we'll have that, so you can bring your spouses with you or significant others. That way you guys can also enjoy the full night of that.
Bring your kids.
Yeah.
Let them play.
Yeah,
Happy Tails.
kids are allowed to, so. Do you have anything else you wanna say?
That's fine.
You were pregnant last time,
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Been a
First
few
time,
years
first
ago. Yeah. No, if you guys have been around a silent auction and bid on them, you know, and then it does just take multiple people at the end of the night there, like Damien said, like, wait, please be patient. We'll get all your things together and, so,
And sometimes people don't bid on cool stuff and you can just buy it out.
yeah, yeah,
Nice Bo Jackson autograph belt bat for $75.
yeah.
I think it comes to, and I think someone told me this in fundraising that when you're asking for money, some of the times they ask, is your board involved or is your committee involved? And we want to be able to say yes, that they're actively out there helping to raise funds and do that stuff too.
And we had the Legacy Fund board, pretty much everyone was there.
Yes.
And the chamber brings almost the entire board
Mhm.
to help out, so it'd be great if you guys show up too.
Yeah.
JB's buddy was there helping me cook and load dishes and do everything
Yeah.
else. so.
Tanner was there.
Yeah, here.
Tanner
in-
hauled dishes for me so one of the other logistical thing too, if you don't want to really help with the silent auction, we own the dishes now, we own the stage. So there is some setup with that, but also we partner with the school district to do the dishes, cause White Iron Ridge doesn't have facilities there. First year we tried doing it with Kozak's, the next day at their commissary kitchen did not work well. We literally load my truck while we're clearing dishes off tables. And I run, or somebody runs them over to the middle school. We have the Boy Scouts there doing dishes. So by the time they're closed down, I think we actually beat them last year. We had all the dishes done before White Iron Ridge was closed, like people were out. So if you wanna run a nice
Yeah.
fun industrial dishwashing machine,
Yeah, there's other duties, like if you can't do that Thursday, on Wednesday, we do set up, on Thursday, we do set up as well, and then there's obviously tear down that night, Thursday, because we have to be out by Friday morning.
and who do we have Kozak's and Chops and
Chops.
food for this year?
Yep,
Yeah.
Kozak's and Chops will be the only two, and hopefully 169 for dessert again.
Yeah. Yeah, they have a dessert buffet, pie and
It's
everything,
a
right?
nice
Leanne?
event, yeah.
And I mean, White Iron Ridge itself is just a beautiful venue, so like we throw down some tablecloths and some nice table
Centerpieces.
centerpieces, and it looks like we just put together this banquet. So.
Yeah. And you get to dress like your favorite Disney character this year.
Yeah, it is a formal event, so people do dress up and things like that. So. Okay,
Okay, we can move on to the senior center building name discussion.
Shauna, after this one, we will do a vote, so just a heads up.
That's what I was just about to ask. Thank you.
All right, so I'm gonna read this just because it is important to make sure I don't miss anything on that. So the Smithville Senior Center has been located west of City Hall since its opening in 2013. Until 2019, the facility was exclusively used for senior services. That year, the Board of Aldermen directed the Parks and Recreation Department to begin managing community rentals out of the space when not used by the seniors. In 2003, our department entered into a new agreement with the senior board, outlining how we would continue offering senior services while also providing greater support in daily operations, managing the senior services grant, and expanding community rental opportunities and programs. That winter, significant upgrades were made into the interior to create a more welcoming space for both seniors and community members. In 2004, staff worked with Clay County Senior Services to add a part-time senior services position under the direction of the Parks and Recreation Director. Since then, the senior program has grown while our recreation team has also expanded use of the facility for rentals, events, and programs. Through conferences and discussions with other departments in the area, we are seeing a generational shift in senior center attendance. Today, senior centers are more often utilized by older age groups, why those in their 60s and 70s may be hesitant to participate. Research has shown there is a stigma around the word senior, and that removing it from the building names and advertisements for programming can help attract a broader audience. With that in mind, staff is seeking direction on a potential name change to the building to make the facility more inviting to both senior plus community or 60 plus community and the general public for events and programs. And before I move on to the next part, when we look at this, I want to make it clear, and it is recorded, that in no shape or form are we looking to remove senior services out of the building. It's just a name change to support what goes on there more. We are in a contract with the seniors. They're going to continue to be there at their exclusive time, which is Monday through Friday each morning until 2 o'clock. So just want to make that clear, because every once in a while when we discuss senior services and the seniors, it seems something gets out to them that we're on the move to get them out of there. And that's completely false. When we did the Parks and Recreation Master Plan back in 2021, it's in the master plan that talks about the utilization of that building to show the need for a bigger facility in the future. So our ultimate goal is to outgrow the current senior center with senior services, which we're on track as we keep growing the attendance. The building can only hold about 50 people, and some of our lunches are getting to 55, where we're having to put people in different spots for tables. So the ultimately in the master plan shows to utilize this, to show the need to outgrow it, to eventually bring that to the community and to the board to recommend them that, hey, we need a bigger facility, or we need to reshape what that current facility looks like on the inside of that. So that is the ultimate goal of that building itself. Hopefully utilizing a name change, as I said, can change kind of the stigma around the word senior, attract in more 60 plus community, and better use for rentals and programs and that. So staff is recommending renaming the facility to Smithville Activity Center. If you have any additional name suggestions, we can bring that forward for discussion now. And then we'd like to ultimately vote to make a recommendation to bring that to the senior board. So we'll take this opportunity, discuss that, get a recommendation from you all. I will take this to the senior board, because I told them, and it's in their contract, that any changes or anything like that would definitely come to them to make sure they also agree with that. And then once we get their approval, we would take that to the Board of Aldermen, or to city management, whatever is deemed necessary for that next step. So I'll leave it open to you all for discussion.
I like that a lot. I think that's a good name.
The only thought I had was considering maybe keeping senior in it and just calling it Smithville Activity and Senior Center. But I don't have a
To
strong-
the point there, some of the research, and I do work with older adults is what I call them. I don't call them seniors. And so that must have been ingrained in my mind through different trainings and conferences I've been to for the last 8 years. And so part of that in their research, this shows that the stigma around the word senior, in Liberty, ours is called the Silver Center. Not the Senior Center, the Silver Center. So,
Yeah, I guess I don't share the same sentiments on the stigma around the word senior. I don't ultimately care that much. I just want it to be like an accurate reflection of what the facility is used for. So, and I guess if there's any cost associated with the name change, like signage or anything, or.
There is signage on the front of the current senior center now. So, and the only change would be we would remove senior and put activity. So we would keep Smithville and center. So it'd just be a smaller cost than changing a completely new name to that.
My only
Well, like
suggestion is I
activity-
kind of have to agree from a marketing point of view. I can see where senior can be derogatory, but that is who this center is mainly developed for. So if there was a way that we could incorporate maybe a different word like silver, like Smithville silver, because if someone comes into this moves into this community and wants to get involved into a senior community offering different things they could provide, they're not going to, unless we have something tied into senior there, how are they going to know that this offers so many things throughout the week for them, if that makes sense?
yeah, and I'm just speaking from, because I work for Liberty Parks and Rec. It was Aging Services was the name of my division, and it's been changed to community services, but we work with seniors, we work with older adults.
And I think that would come more of our thing is if you get on our website, we could, on our website, we could still have we have our page that is called Senior Center, if I'm not mistaken. And that could stay the same. So it'd more or less just be the name of the building that would show up on Google Maps or on our marketing and things like that where something is located at.
I mean, whatever, I'm indifferent really, but I like community. It's more involved than like activities. What kind of
All for naming a
activities?
community center, cause then
It's a
we got one.
Yeah.
Community center.
community. Yeah, I don't know.
I was, the only concern I had, and I'm glad JB chimed in, is they named the Warrior Activity Center, so I wouldn't want to get confused with the two.
Most people call that the WAC though, so it doesn't, I don't.
It's pretty whack, right?
I just like community because I don't know. I'm from a small town too,
You don't wanna
and it was
regret
always
that.
the community, the community center. So I don't
I
know.
do like that too.
And there is a
Everybody
sense of
involved.
Yeah, it's the-
community.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm all fine with calling it community center.
I believe Trimble's is called Trimble Community Center. I could be wrong, but it is only offered for renting out of like for a week. That's where we have our family dinners,
We have a
etc.
motion to name it what anything.
I'll-
Do we drop the word activity entirely, or do we do Smithville Community
Community.
Activity Center?
It's a lot of letters.
a lot.
I don't
That
think
is a lot.
community.
I just-
Smithville Community Center.
Solves the problem.
I like it.
And then again, I don't, well, what do you think of when you think of a community center? I think of a YMCA
Yeah,
or, so then I think there's gonna be a lot more workout equipment there. But that's cause I work at a community center in Liberty where there's workout equipment.
Yeah.
So
I got a pool table. I want a treadmill.
It's not open to the public though either.
I know.
Has
So
there
so-
been talks, with the seniors there? How are they gonna feel about this
Yeah, what
name
are they-
change?
Looking to get your guys' recommendation first, and then I'd bring it to the senior center.
I think as far as older adults in the community, when they're looking for a place to go, it is nice when you drive down the street and it says senior right there. And I can't speak to more of the research other than just what I have in my day to day. But yeah, they don't think of themselves as seniors at all. They're like a senior center. I'm not old enough, and they're like 75, and you're thinking, okay, there's not a minimum age requirement. But when you do say something like community or activities, like, oh, well, I could go do some activities, not with the seniors, but I could go do some activities. And everyone's different, and people think of aging differently.
What would be, I mean, the goal, say they do outgrow it in the next 3 years, say it turns into 100 people that are showing up for lunches. Build, obviously, probably have to,
Knock
have
out
to-
some walls. We got
room to knock out walls.
We would probably, yeah, the
all
first,
storage in the back.
I
right
think,
now.
yeah, the first part would be to try to restructure the inside with the way the walls are set up to offer more seating capacity, which, and just our couple thoughts, it would be pretty simple to do. If we did keep growing, we'd have to talk to the police about giving us a space where they have the storage at back there, which is a pretty large space in the back.
Yeah, this
so-
building and that building are just important buildings.
Yeah.
So I could reconfigure this as easily
Yeah.
as we did.
If you guys would feel more comfortable me talking to the senior board first and then bringing us back with their comments, I could
We're-
do that as well.
I'm okay with whatever they want to call it.
So really up
honestly.
to it. It's not my building, But if I just thought community more like,
Yeah.
because I think activity, I think community, I think, I
Call
mean,
it the senior community center.
And I think the thought behind that, Kyle, was it was
Get rid of the
because
Smithville
there's
altogether.
all
activities
activities
going
in
on,
there, like,
right?
we're
I
doing
get
fitness
ya.
classes Monday through Friday, and then after that is senior services, which is a program.
Right.
And then after that, it's rentals, which most of our rentals, we have like a line dancing class in there right now.
Nice.
And then on the weekends, it's, it's a lot of birthdays and event parties that are going on there. So that's kind of where that
Came
came
from.
into, yeah,
We use
because
it for we use it for training or.
Yeah, training classes, yeah.
I don't want to call it like the community services center, but that's just the name of my division. So I think I'm a bad like representation of what it could be.
If
I
they're-
like
mean,
that
if they're
idea
okay with
because if
activity-
I'm
Sell
going
some naming
to,
rights, Matt. Let's put it out there.
There you
Somebody
go.
goes to pay for it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm sure Eric Craig will buy it.
Squires.
Yeah.
Community center.
Give it.
I actually like this, what she said, community service thing, because my aunt didn't even know that you could rent a place down there. She thought it was just for senior centers, like to open that up so that we can get some revenue by renting it out. So maybe
Mhm.
we do incorporate a community. What, how did you say that? How'd you word that again?
The Community Services Center, but services I think could be interchanged.
The Houghton Community Center, Sean and Freddie.
I know, I just really think it's a good idea because then it opens it up and it doesn't just take us down one rabbit hole and saying it's nothing but for seniors, but we're not saying community center, so we don't have to worry about the backlash of the community thinking that we're actually doing a full-fledged, workout community center. But I think that we could put it together and put services in there so that other people know that they could use it for rentals, et cetera, and it's not just based on seniors as well.
Or we maybe just leave it the same name and put a big for rent sign, rent.
Well, yeah, well, let's table this and just let me talk to the seniors first and bring back their feedback, and then I feel like that would make everyone feel a little bit more confident in their choice here. So, or it's no rush to do this. It's just something that's been on kind of after I did a few Johnson County and North Kansas City both went through they did 50 plus redoing their master plans for those divisions. And that's kind of where this came from. So
My motion to table this.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed?
Moving on.
If you need someone to meet with a few of the seniors, I think a few of us meeting with
Yeah.
a few of them, just talking to them, what do you hear when you hear the word senior? And some people probably wear it as a badge of honor. And then maybe if more of them are like, yeah, it's.
We have
So.
one that just turned 100 on, it's 99, so I mean, they might have an opinion.
And Haley, I mentioned in the last email in 28th, but Haley mentioned a good opportunity. If you haven't been inside the senior center, more welcome to do tours so you guys can.
Or just go buy them lunch. It costs you $100.
Oh, buy all the seniors lunch? Okay, we can move on to number 6, the Smith Fork Park Engineering and Design discussion.
All right. In 2020, the Parks and Stormwater Sales Tax was approved by the voters, and in 2021, the Parks and Recreation Master Plan was adopted by the Board of Aldermen. This plan provides a 10-year roadmap for meeting community needs with the new funding source. One of the major projects identified in the plan was the restructuring of Smiths Forks Park and the athletic fields. Currently, 3 ball fields are located at Heritage Park and 2 at Smiths Fork Park. The long-term vision is to develop Heritage Park into more of a community hub and extension of downtown. To make that transition while offering programs and rentals, the restructuring of Smiths Fork Park athletic fields must occur first. When the master plan was adopted in 2021, the estimated cost of this project was just under $3 million. Through inflation and supply costs, we are estimating the cost has increased significantly. To help fund the project, staff plan to set aside $300,000 annually from the newly approved sales tax. Following this plan, the fund should have close to $2 million available by 2027 to launch the project. In May of 2025, staff recommended to the Board of Aldermen that the engineering be moved up to 2026. Beginning the design phase earlier would allow the committee and community feedback while also providing an updated cost estimate. The board has recommended that engineering be included in the 2026 Parks and Stormwater Sales Tax budget. The final approval of the budget is October 21st. Staff wants to begin approving a scope of work to either issue a request for qualifications or partner directly with a firm under the design build approach. There has been an update to this last sentence here. The Board of Aldermen will be given a presentation. We don't know who that is now because that has changed. So it is not on November 4th anymore. It'll be moved to December, the first meeting in December, where the goal is to present some alternative design and construction options that'll benefit, 1, the city, and 2, to the cost of it as well. So with this project being what it's looking to be upwards of, $5 to $7 million in total once it's done, we're looking to try to save as much cost as possible. So city management, myself and the public works director are looking to find someone who could present to the Board of Aldermen, not as a sales pitch, and not coming from staff, but someone who's just educated on the topic of alternative designs from design build, design, what is it? Design, build, and
Construction manager at risk.
yeah,
and all-
construction manager at risk is the other one. So no update on that yet. But leading up to this meeting, I'd asked you guys to review the master plan and research some complexes to bring forward some ideas for discussion points that will help us in developing a scope of work. And then I kind of put some ideas that was to look at, turf fields, parking, shade, seating, and lighting. I liked, Alex has got a piece of paper over here. And basically, we're very early in the process of this, but with us meeting quarterly and want to make sure that if the opportunity to put a scope of work out before soon, that way it can be ready for you guys to review. But I want to make sure you guys are involved in this process because I think this is going to be a really cool and significant project to the city that we want to make sure you guys are involved in. So I haven't heard from any of you all on what your thoughts are on that. And so this is kind of the opportunity to take this meeting and kind of just discuss kind of what big picture items could be that we can look forward to putting in a scope of work in the future. So.
And for those of you that haven't reviewed, somebody's in trouble. That haven't reviewed the plan recently, a couple of the big things were soccer, baseball, sports courts. One of the things that keeps coming up is skate park. And then as Matt's reported the last couple of board meetings, the campground has been doing really, really well.
Correct.
So as you're thinking through that stuff, we've talked to the school district a little bit as well. The soccer field at the school district isn't regulation size because it has a track around it. There's 2 districts in the community that would like to see a high school sized soccer field there. Pickleball, outdoor pickleball in town is not getting utilized as much as we thought it was going to be 5 years ago when we wrote the plan. So some of those things to think about of use. Baseball is always, I think, going to be.
Yeah, baseball, softball, both are 2 programs that are growing here. Soccer as well. I mean, we've had multiple discussions with Shauna about looking at kind of her contacts to help expand the soccer fields, so we can have more people there. Obviously, football is using 2 ball fields out at Smith's Fork as well as their 2 practice fields down at Spillway, so they're growing. So Smith's Fork, we have the green space. It just we want to make sure we're utilizing it the best as possible. That'll benefit all these programs that are within the community.
I think we have 1 person a quarter that uses the driving range.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the kids doing
Yeah.
donuts on it has been
Yeah.
more use than.
Yes, spray painting. So if you guys have any other questions on that, on kind of what the idea is and kind of what we're looking at in this project?
And also, just so you guys know too, as you're thinking through what fits in there, I don't know if you guys noticed the house across from Grace on the curb was recently torn down.
Mhm.
So we're annexing, there's a little triangle of land right there that the city's in the process of annexing in. I think we have the second reading next week. They're planning to put in some cabins there, similar to what Herzog has up at their place. There would be like camping cabin type of things. So that's what's going there.
cities?
No, private developer.
Oh,
We're just
So as you look at the,
designing
as you look at the
friendly.
layout, that house is now gone too from that plan. So we don't have to worry as much about being right next to somebody's house, and that was one of the concerns of.
Yeah, in the master plan, there's a section for a destination playground to kind of be down in that area in the future.
Yeah, and if it's people coming in from out of town to use it for camping or short-term rental type purposes, that makes sense to have the camp or the playground down there still.
Yeah.
So with the pickleball courts, is that basically the tennis courts at Smith's Fork?
So right now there are lines on those courts that can utilize for pickleball. So right now we have 1 tennis net that's up, and then 1 court has a pickleball net, but both of them have lines for pickleball.
But even when we've done pickleball clinics and open court pickleball indoors, we're not getting participation. And downtown, we have a business now doing pickleball, and it's not getting the reservations that
We
would
played it
justify
both,
it.
like, we tried it, the courts that are marked off at Smith's Fork, and it gets really windy.
Yeah.
And it's not really fun.
Smith's Fork has a ton of wind.
Yeah, it's way more fun downtown
Yeah.
where it's like a little more enclosed,
Mm.
but.
Yep. Yeah, the wind out there kills it for, I mean, even soccer, we get like hit hard with wind, but we're used to it. But pickleball with the ball sails,
Yeah.
like it's no good. So
I think one thing that would help that a lot is lights. So I don't know if you guys have been to the courts by Argosy Casino or in Liberty.
Yeah, Riverside.
If you
yeah.
go there at night, there's probably 70 teenage kids out there playing pickleball every single night during the summer. It's constantly
closed at dusk. That's no problem.
that. So I don't know if that's something we could look into, but that they are constantly packed, and they each have 6 courts, I think. I mean, every time I go out there, because that's where I go to play pickleball, their courts are just a little bit nicer, and they have lights, so you can play all night. It's just a lot. It's a lot more fun to play.
They have lights
there.
down here and they're not getting used.
I didn't even know, because I went down to ours to play lights, and we ended up having to move the net into the road and just play with the street lights. Cause we
No, I mean down at the downtown business. They
I was talking
have
about
lights.
that fork.
Yeah.
So
So
I
the
think,
area, so the area where those courts are there now would be moved with the ball field project. So we would have to, and the plan would be to relocate those down lower to the parking lot if if we have the funds and that's what is priority to keep those.
Additionally, it'd probably cost us $300,000, and we could just rent the courts down here for a year for $10,000. I mean, honestly, it's $20 an hour.
So did you get a chance to review the master plan of what the image looks like? So basically it'd be a Clover complex. It'd be 4 ball fields up on top. So where you have the 2 there now, and then you have the sport courts in the middle. Basically you would turn those fields where all the home bases would be facing each other in kind of a Clover shape. That's
So
the
the
most
home base right now would be outfield.
Yes.
okay.
And then the sport courts would have to be moved down to a different location if we wanted to keep them.
And then another thing is, have you looked into turfing those fields? I don't know if that's possible.
But we haven't
but-
looked into anything. So I'm looking to get
Okay.
your guys' ideas on if you think it'd be beneficial to ask for turf fields, that'd be something we want to look
So
at.
like the Commerce Bank, those fields up by
yeah.
152,
Mhm,
there's like 7 different sports that
mhm.
use those fields because they're just a massive square field.
Mm.
And then baseball uses them. They bring in fences. Softball uses them. I use them for lacrosse.
Yeah.
Soccer. I mean, they have men's league soccer from 9 to 12 o'clock at night, almost every weeknight. And there's like 200 men's league teams that play there. Just stuff like that. I think expanding into that type of
So kind of looking at
Atmosphere.
kind of a multi-use.
yeah would
The only concern I have of doing anything past 10 is it's quiet hours for the campground.
Yeah.
That's true.
I don't want to take away from our revenue source of the campground.
Nothing really good has been happening in our parks after dark.
Right, we have cameras out there, and after 9, it's
Most likely if we had a complex out there at that size, and we would most likely look to be closing that park at night or when it needed.
I think, well, I mean, coming from a small community too, you know, you would play on the courts, basketball, and the lights would shut off at
Yeah.
10 o'clock. Cop would come through, go, you know what I mean? And that was it. So if you
Yeah.
put them on a timer, that'd be huge. Because we don't even have lights at the basketball court down here yet, do we?
No.
Is another, you know?
No,
so-
I'd rather see the lights get put down here where it's not surrounded by,
Right.
and shut them, like you said, shut off at 10 or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
I highly recommend putting lights on the basketball court because several times I've drove by and see a bunch of teenagers out there and they're using their car lights to play basketball. So we know that the basketball court is being utilized in the evenings, and especially when it's really hot summer days, you'll see them out there at 9 o'clock at night and it's still 100 degrees, but they're trying to and they're being smart and, keeping them safe. So I recommend probably throwing lights on the basketball court that we already established because it's fairly new, and providing like a shut off time at 10 o'clock or whatnot.
Yeah.
But I can honestly say I've camped at that campground. We've listened to ball practices going on, and it's kind of it doesn't bother. I can honestly say it never bother any of us. It's kind of nostalgic, summertime here is hearing the crack of the ball. So it wouldn't bother me to go to 10:30 or not because it's far enough away. You're not going to hear too much if in your camper to bother you. If you're sitting outside, like I said, it didn't bother any of us to listen to ball practices at all.
Yeah,
I
so
just-
I want to make sure we are staying on topic. So I'm looking for feedback and discussion on the Smiths Fork
Yep.
Sports Complex.
And I think
So I'm looking at kind of what designs and features you guys are wanting out of that facility.
to lead back into that, I think many moons ago when we were having this meeting before, we brought up the turf. I think turf's huge. I mean, you're kind of running into it with the soccer fields now. It's a constant deal when it rains and everything. You know, it's just we play at the Sporting KC one now, and it's rain or shine, you're there. Unless it's too hot. Now kids can't play in heat, but
The only concern we have is if we're gonna do that, we have to spend a lot of money on
It is.
gating and everything else because that's a private facility. They can lock it down.
Right.
They can pay for services. When taxpayers are funding it and somebody goes out and spits gum because they're playing little kid T-ball.
Right.
And we can't get it out and we have to replace it. The school district's turf was supposed to last 10. I think they got 3, 4 out of it. In this last run around, we can't,
keep doing it.
but if we're gonna go that direction, we have to make sure we budget for
In the future.
the maintenance and replacement sooner than we think because it's gonna be a public thing. I play at Central Park, the Bank Park also, it's expensive.
Oh.
And we can't do that with Hancock. We can't just raise rates to $300 for a ball field rental. We can go up like 3%.
Right. Well,
So on there, you want to make sure you put lights.
Yeah,
on there.
lights, turf, see what turf would cost. And then instead of doing like the sports courts, cause like a dedicated, I think we should do a flex. Like if we're gonna do something, do a flex space where it can be skate park like Carney did with the ramps. Or we can use it for tennis lessons or pickleball lessons, but not necessarily dedicated for those
one or
things.
the other.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. We were down at what's that place? The Shields Sporting KC Park. Huge skate park by it.
yeah,
One skater.
yeah.
You know, I'm not against skating. I used to rollerblade and stuff a lot too, but like how much of them are really full all the time?
Well,
Especially
Riverside
down
is
here.
Riverside is pretty busy because they did a purpose built with the kids that were there using it, and we have a few usually out at ours. That's
Yeah.
right, but it's tiny, tiny, tiny.
Yeah,
Right.
That's probably one thing I get a lot of feedback on is skate park.
Skate park.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have quite a few
It's-
kids that skate
through-
through downtown.
And through the master plan and the surveys that were done, you can look through those survey responses and there was a large amount of
Skate park.
Yeah.
And doing a flex space where you like bring in the ramps, where it's just like a concrete slab, we're
Right.
not paying for. I mean, the paint on
The
pickleball is
bowls, yeah, the concrete
expensive.
bowls,
Yeah,
yeah.
if we do any molded stuff, we do any rail, like permanent rails, that's all expensive. We can't use it for anything else. But if we do it as a flex space, like give it a
Right.
good dimension, we could probably make it bigger. And then you could use it for, if you need 3 volleyball courts on a pinch, we throw it out there. Batting cages or what, that's what I noticed at Sporting. They have a lot of that, like in between spaces, they have the batting cages and. Like if we make it, I think having a flex space there would help us more than trying to like. Commit to just one sport
Mhm.
in a big chunk of space.
I have to
Like
agree with
flex
that.
space, so
I,
we can do like
know you-
soccer and lacrosse or football, yeah.
I mean, just
When you
making
say-
it as multi-purpose as possible.
Yeah, when you say flex space, is that when you said multi-purpose use
that's-
field?
Have you
Same
guys
thing.
on
You're-
169 Northland? On 169, if you're going south from here, it's that Northland school. It's on the front, and they have
Yeah, yeah.
they
Northland
just did
Christian
a
School.
The baseball slash football
they got
slash,
baseball, football, soccer, all in kind of
Yeah,
one.
That would be
yeah,
what we would.
yeah.
They keep
I know
them
you
all.
say you've got a lot of surveys for skate parks, but just living in downtown, I don't see a whole lot of kids on skateboards. I think that's a lot of money for concrete. I'd almost, like you said, flex space and have maybe a night that you can throw the temporary ramps up for them, but I don't know that I would vote for a dedicated 100% skate park. That's just a lot of concrete. And if it's
Yep.
not being utilized, when we can have something that can be utilized for several sports is where I probably would take my vote to.
Yeah.
I'd agree.
Yeah, I think a good space that you can do like fields and a space that has just a big concrete pad that we can flex in basketball, flex in, if we need extra basketball pickup game, hoops we throw in or whatever.
I think too, when we were talking about this many moons ago, my vision too is I know it's a public, but you get a community like this where one of these private teams sells a softball tournament for the weekend, right? Like that's a lot of money that'd be coming in too, eating spending money in the community, renting the fields for the whole weekend, so.
One of the things that Matt and I have both attended a lot of sessions on that kind of thing. And the problem we run into is they don't want to book it here because we don't have the in-between game stuff. We don't have hotels.
Yeah,
We don't have as many dining options as they want. So if they're looking to book something here, if they don't have a 200-seat restaurant, they're not gonna book
they're
it.
not gonna do it, no.
think
If they don't
the-
have
the
a
one thing
200
too,
room
Kyle,
hotel, they're not gonna book it.
It's obviously something that we still offer right now. If you wanted to do a tournament, you could do a softball tournament or, slow pitch, things like that. Back when we first started rec programming, it was the board's agenda to make sure that we were offering to the community first.
Mhm.
And I would say our ball fields, obviously from March until July almost, are fully rec
Rented out.
programming. It's like Monday through Sunday now that we have our rec programming going on. And then we have a break and then we have T-ball in there on Friday night. So there is some opening in the fall, but it definitely is an option still that we offer today, but make sure that our community gets it first.
Right,
I was gonna ask, yeah, if we envisioned doing tournaments and if that was the case, but that makes
Yeah.
sense that, yeah.
Especially if we only have
What
4
we're gonna do.
fields. If we want to offer up to, I mean, we have a lot of competitive teams here in Smithville that we want to make sure that we could offer some rental space to. If we're doing tournaments, that kind of kicks them out of that realm.
yeah,
But we still offer, and we would probably still offer the opportunity for that. But just, we would definitely want to be cognizant that we're keeping it for the
for the
community.
community.
Yeah.
But I think we do need to invest in the technology that makes it, secure. Make sure we have security and
We'll make sure you get that.
technology out there, cameras, gating, like you guys did down at the park recently.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think
Automatic lighting. the
Automatic
turn- at a certain
lighting.
Time,
the security, the water fountains like we have on the trail, like things that,
upgraded parking.
yeah, better parking.
Parking, yeah, yeah.
the parking's horrible out
Maybe
there.
a few EV charge,
Always.
maybe a
Turns
few
into the
EV
grass.
chargers, because there's a lot of people that do have electrics, if they could stay out there and park and
Yeah.
charge their vehicle. Like,
You could almost, like Evergy or somebody would put one of those out there for free, wouldn't they? No. Cause
it's
they
getting
make the
less and
money
le-
off of it.
It's getting less and less, but there are
It-
companies we
Yeah.
can talk to. But yeah, just like in the vision of it, like, okay,
Yeah.
if you're gonna be there for ball games
Mhm.
and you're driving a Tesla or whatever and you wanna plug it in, like
Shade.
shade
That's what I was
structure.
Just thinking,
Things
and
like
now
that.
at Capitol Federal, they have the solar panels that also are shade. And you
Yeah.
can get them up even higher and.
We
make
want
it
solar
double.
panels.
If you can do solar panels with covered parking or covered shade structures and offset stuff, that's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I
Not
highly
just-
recommend, I was on the Citizens Academy last year, so I highly recommend anyone going out and reviewing the master plan. I know it changes on a regular basis, but it does bring more knowledge to what decision making you might be having and not having biased decisions on this. But I do recommend everyone, if they haven't had the opportunity, to go review that master plan.
And also we are starting to trend, when we did the master plan and the strategic plan, we were trending older. And now we're starting to go back. So there's younger demographic in town, so that, I mean, Emerald Ridge toddler area is always busy. Like
Mhm.
it's,
What's your guys' thoughts on like seating?
Basic
If-
bleachers.
Put some, yeah. roll-
So
Like
it's
metal
the bleachers
bleachers
that
that you
are
sit on
gonna
and burn
burn you.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you guys looking at another playground or activity area? If you've been to a lot of complexes, they have
Something, yeah.
they have something for families and kids to play on.
Yeah, I think having that, if we're gonna, do you have I know the destination playgrounds in there, but having, just the basic stuff around
Just
the area.
covered. Yeah.
Yeah, there's the picture.
But
Yeah.
just to make sure, this is 4 fields out at Smith's Fork
Yeah.
with the intent that we remove the fields from Heritage in the future.
Yes.
So we're essentially losing a field.
We already lost it. We lost a field because there used to be 3 at Smith's Fork. They got
Mhm.
rid of 1, so there's only 2. And then there's 2 at Heritage and then a T-ball field.
So right now we have so we would take and if we were taking it, we would take the 2 fields at Heritage Park,
Mhm.
the 2 nice ones, take those and put them out here at Smith's Fork to make it 4. And then we would keep the one that's kind of like back in the corner at Heritage. there.
The T-ball, yeah.
So we
the-
wouldn't,
yeah,
and
yeah.
we're not losing any fields. This is just relocating them to a more central area.
But we're also not gaining.
We're not
field
gaining
space,
field,
So we
no.
need to recognize that when we're planning that.
Yeah.
We're
And on
not
that-
drawing in a ton of more people. We're having this, we're able to serve the same number of people essentially.
Yep.
Just in one area instead of two.
Correct.
But to that point, Leah, remember when you were playing softball, if you do a clover leaf and you put bleachers around the entire middle section, say that be like a concession stand or whatnot, you're not having parents having to go to two different places. Say you have a 4-year-old and like your family, you had, several siblings, you're not stretched out so thin. So it is actually a gaining because say you keep the T-ball field for the younger kids, but if I have a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old and one has practice and one has a game, I can stay in that clover leaf and utilize all 4 fields. So it is kind of like you don't maybe not be gaining the space, but you are getting more convenience for people that have multiple kids. And then to that part, I would also have something small for someone that has smaller kids. If my son is playing and I have a 2-year-old to kind of keep entertained, it would be nice to have a little smaller playground possibly around that clover leaf. So moms could kind of distract the other set of smaller kiddos and siblings to entertain them during the games.
Yeah, and Leah, that's a good point because to us it would feel like gaining 2 more fields because we program only the 2 at Heritage Park. So our games are only on 2 fields, which we don't use Smith's Fork fields right now because they're not ADA accessible. There's no sidewalk to either of those ball fields, and then the bleachers are also very not bleachers, but where their bleachers are at is just not really accessible for someone to go there. So we do practices there, but that's about it. I think we've had to do a couple of T-ball games there just because of space, but this year we had everything at Heritage Park. So to us, it would feel like gaining 2 more fields when it comes to programming.
So you don't
Games
need
and-
5 fields? No.
But and the other thing too is like what we
I'm looking at-
learned with Emerald Ridge, like those passageways between the ball fields and like even over to soccer, like making that
Like a walking show.
interactive. Well, yeah, but like also having it interactive and inclusive with sensory and the board, the different boards and stuff we have.
So just-
Like that gives something for kids to do too, like Sean was talking to, as you walk from like soccer to ball field to the center of the ball fields, like we can spread out the little like play type structure and like they do it at the Central Bank Park. There's by the concession stand, there's
Yeah,
like a
right there, yeah.
playground and there's
I think it's
bathrooms and
really
They don't even
cool.
have to be
Johnson
that big.
County's
Yeah.
Johnson County's got like a little wiffle ball field for
Yeah.
kids to play on.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I was gonna say because there's the destination park, so the older kids are gonna go down there or whatever by themselves anyways. But
I'm just saying put putt in there so Leah's happy.
I think so too. Is
So down the middle.
what you're saying, like these fields, when you have a T-ball game down there and they're back to back to back,
Mhm.
that's, oh my God, that parking is horrible too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're fighting people to get in or get out and, no.
And we're essentially like taking to like number, is that 11 or what, right by the soccer fields, that's existing field. And then the rest of that, we're pretty much building new where the driving range is, right?
Well, those are the wrong way though, right? We're redoing those, correct? Soccer field, or that's just for.
No, I'm talking about like,
Yeah,
if you
so-
look at number 11,
Yeah.
like the other, like south of the parks built, like
Yeah.
towards the dam, like that's all new parking where the,
Okay.
cause and then it gives you that extra exit out to the dam too, right? Like
Correct.
to the road going to the campground. Like that way you're not just coming in off one side or down below, like you can,
Would you want a building for a concession stand or just a concrete slab where a food truck can pull up to offer food?
I think in the middle, we have to do bathrooms with
Bathroom.
concession.
Concession, I
type,
suppose,
Yeah,
bathroom, kind of
Bathrooms. on-
going back to the
cause if we're doing ADA, we
Sporting
have to,
KC one. They have the,
yeah.
yeah,
Concession's an interesting thing, and I learned this from Liberty back in the day. Is that they're not real. It's a lot to get it housed. They contract it out. They back in house. They do a lot of different things. The size of our city, a food truck,
Yeah.
bringing in having a spot where you could bring in, a variety of food trucks, it could be pretty cool to do.
Yeah.
Just because if we were to do this and to have, we'd probably have to have another 2 positions, or another position, one to control, tournaments and rentals like that, but then also concessions, someone in these larger like Gladstone, they have someone specifically that handles concessions for their pool and
Yeah,
for their
I would
sporting
recommend
events.
not.
So.
And what you
But-
got, I guess what you guys will learn too with the bathrooms, just the plumbing, all the things that can go wrong with if you're having to maintain that. And then if we have a vendor in there and the sink messes up, like who's gonna fix it?
Yeah.
So the food truck thing, I'm fine, but yeah, as long as the middle's got,
So you'd have to have
Bathrooms.
access, yeah.
What if you like, so you have bathrooms, but you
Truck.
could put
Yeah.
concessions in there, but like,
Someone
it's not
brings
ran
their
by
own
Park and
in.
Rec, it's the
Yeah.
Boy Scouts run out that little session, you know, and they
Yeah, what do they
run.
call it? It's kind of like,
You get what I'm saying though, like,
Yeah.
or
a
whoever.
Space, an
Yeah.
empty space.
and if we do that, I'd rather just have like a pavilion space that's not enclosed. That's
Yeah.
just like shade where they could, if they want to set
Sell
up a
and stuff,
table and sell
right.
some stuff, drag in a cooler and sell drinks.
I will honestly say this,
Sandwiches, candy
Smith
bars.
Forks,
Yeah.
Smith Forks old existing, I'm showing my age here, concession stand. So if you were a part of the softball, you only sold candy and things that were like resale value, nothing of warming up or anything like that. Sodas, drinks, candies, chips, or whatever. We did that for the baseball, and the baseball team would make it as a fundraiser for their program on the softball nights. And all we had is one sink, but we sold everything like just wholesale, like purchasing from Sam's and reselling that. Because you want your patrons to go to your businesses and eat right after the games. And you don't
Mhm.
want to necessarily have to worry about doing food handling courses and stuff like that. So you wouldn't have to do a huge, should say, concession stand in the middle of that 4-leaf clover. You'd have your bathrooms, boys and women on one side and men on the other side or whatever. And then a small concession stand just to utilize, not to have to worry about food handling. Then you wouldn't have to hire an extra person to maintain that. And they could just be selling things over the counter, not necessarily having to, cook things. Cause we want our people to visit our town for those games, to
Yeah.
utilize our businesses,
But-
our small town restaurants.
Yeah, I think what you could do is we could still have the area for a food truck to come in, but make in like a restroom facility building, have a spot where we could do those kind of community groups things. It's just a space with a sink, yeah.
Yeah, and if you just have an open gazebo, then you're
Yeah.
hauling that stuff in and hauling that stuff out, where we would just stock it on a Sunday. Leah, correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a long time since this has been going on. We'd stock it on a Sunday and everything was there for the rest of the week. And you'd lock it so you didn't have to worry about having to come in every day and hauling everything in and out. So I do think an enclosed structure would be a recommendation on my part.
As someone that used to own a truck, do you think, I mean, and attended, T-ball games and things like that, do you think that's the right trajectory?
I mean, if it were up to me, I would say definitely just on the backside of the bathroom structure,
Mhm.
throw a bar with like a little garage door that slides
Mhm.
up and down, and that you can have storage in there for a few snacks and goodies, and it makes it pretty easy to run that.
Yeah.
But I did an internship with Northland Sports Alliance when I was in college, and I was in charge of running their concessions there, and it's pretty smooth but needed thing that happens, and
It
you
does
stock
nice.
it runs once a week, and
Yeah.
hopefully find somebody like a volunteer to run it, because
I think
you
even-
don't want to deal with employees. I know we want to
Oh.
avoid that,
Yeah.
running the concession
That's a
stand,
great, so,
but
and off of that, I think a lot of people are learning the difficulty of concession stands, and if you've been to the Capitol Federal fields out there, they have kind of like kiosks in a sense, where someone is watching you're doing, but you're, going in, you're grabbing something and going, kind of like
So
a
you can do
grocery
hot
store.
cold vending machines too, and
Yeah.
people stock those and.
Yeah,
vending machines would be good.
Yeah, just as something, and I like Shauna's point of, you don't need
Yes.
to stuff them full because you want them to go to the
Yeah.
restaurant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most vending machines now have cellular and alarms and everything.
Yeah. Just to get into it, are you guys like, some fields do netting, some do chain link fences
I like netting.
for like
Cleaner.
backdrop? Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, for like the outfield stuff.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, if you do because then can put lights on the same poles, right? Like just go higher and.
And I think something to think about, and with Liberty, I mean, they contract with, his name's Joel, and he gets the sponsorships for the different fields and all of the banners, and I think he keeps 30% or 70,
60-40.
60-40 now. So you are gonna have a lot of fence space out there, and,
That goes to your advertising,
Yeah.
you know?
yeah, your sponsorship
Yeah.
packages,
Sponsorship.
yeah.
You could name the fields.
Yeah, no,
Spell
that would
that
be
too.
something that Damien has talked to me about is making sure if we got something that size, we want a name on it.
Yeah.
Telling you, Shauna just needs to write a check.
Sure.
I do,
right on
I
it.
do like that you have the rock wall thing up there too, you know. It is like, and our friend that works on trails just left, but we do need to think about doing some more outdoor nature type stuff, I think, out there too. I know, you know, confidence course, shrubs course, like the trail type of stuff, and not just having a trail that goes through, because you see the red line, that's the trail all the way around the thing, but having some of that educational, informational stuff. Because it is a giant park. It's 200 acres. Like,
250.
yeah,
Like
it's
signage will
big.
be important and can add up
Signage.
quickly.
I don't know that we'd even need to hire someone to help for sponsorships. There's enough of us involved in this community. I think that we could probably, I mean, look what you've got for just the haunted campground sponsorships, and you really didn't even have to post much for that.
Mhm.
I think we wouldn't have to hire someone to do any kind of a split. I think we could be reaching out to this community and getting the sponsorships ourselves instead of reaching out to someone to do the legwork for us.
Mhm.
I'll do it for 60-40, 70-30.
Well, I mean, we've had our sponsorship catalog for a long time, and it's never maxed out. I mean,
It's always tough, a city asking a business for money.
yeah.
But you've got Herzog and all those different corporations that want to involve in the youth. So I don't know that it would be something so hard and stuck that we couldn't get it, capable of doing. I've seen so many like ones Lake Fest and stuff like that. Yeah, it's work on our part, but even as the city, you wanting to sponsor this field, just like you did the haunted campgrounds, and you'll see that you'll have those community partners that want to do something for our youth, and they'd rather put their money towards the youth than something else.
Yeah.
How much was this?
Trees. You want trees? You want?
I think we should try to maintain as many as we currently have
Yeah.
Yeah.
without taking any out.
Shade, like
yeah.
you had mentioned,
Yeah.
and I mean, trees
Shade for
are
the
a
future.
great way to get shade.
Trees
but-
around that soccer field would be nice to block some of that wind that's up there.
You know,
Hopefully-
I know this shows like 3 fields, because that's taking the full current area, right? Plus the other side, like.
Yeah.
I think if we do at least one really good, like,
We can get two.
competition level
yeah.
size high school field, and then keep like the U12, because we're not getting any U12 teams, right? Like U14.
We're getting U12. We're not getting U13 and 14. That's the division that we had it one year. We had like 2.5 teams. That's why we were talking about, like, we just didn't throw a good product out there.
Yeah, and if we
but-
take down the fence and kind of expand more towards the south, we can add more of the little kicker type fields.
Yeah.
All
I've
day,
just-
every day.
I've gotten quotes before on expanding that area where we have the 2 fields down at the bottom, and it was just under $100,000, and that was just for the excavation of it, and that didn't include hardly anything else. So it's just all comes down to cost on
Yeah.
the improvement that we're making.
Shauna, you just get some
Yeah.
dump trucks full of dirt for
My
it.
my budget for improvement projects is around 30,000, so that's not going to get us for that. And if we were looking at additional funds, I'm competing with additional departments, and it comes down to just priority at the current moment. And when that becomes that's why we moved the fields to Heritage Park. Added 3 fields there just to help expand what we have.
that work out this year. Did it work out good?
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fields?
Alex, did you having the fields down at Heritage Park work out? I know it worked out in the spring. We had
Yeah.
to do that for the spring.
We'll have to use them in the spring, yeah, if our numbers are as big as they were last spring.
Yeah.
And Matt, don't forget, I have a second contact for bidding for that may.
Yep, I've
You
been
know, we
talking
will-
with Sherry. She's
Okay,
been in
but I
contact
also,
with
that
me.
doesn't work out, like I said, with them. I mean, they're obviously busy right now. They have a family thing going on, but if that doesn't work out, we also have a second contact we can reach out to that's a local as well.
Need dirt.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys have contacts with the community who do work as far as construction or
Well, and the other thing too,
excavation or
I don't know if
all sorts of things, we could definitely look at what in-kind work we could do or for lower costs.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've been out to Shawnee's ball or soccer fields. They're tiered.
Mm.
So like they have one it's like a 8-foot drop to the next one to the next one.
Carney kind of does that too, I
Do they?
believe. Yeah, Jesse.
Yeah,
James.
so that way like we don't have to necessarily make all 3 of that level. We could move dirt from here to here to here to.
Well, and I think I've
Yes.
mentioned to Matt 20 years ago when I was on to the board with soccer, we had a piece of land that was possibly being donated to the soccer program. But the cost of excavating it to being tiered because it was on a huge, massive hill was
Yeah.
going to cost more than what they wanted to help with. But tiered soccer, it helps you actually drain the field. If you crown it and you drain it to, it's probably actually more acceptable in playing on a fields that are tiered like that because they're not everything's, even if you're doing a crown, if you have 6 fields together, the water's going to go somewhere. And then that's the cost of draining and everything else.
Yeah.
Interesting.
If you go to St. Louis, a lot of their fields over there, when Jordan was in the state cup and whatnot, a lot of them are tiered for that very reason.
Yeah, and you could tier to, and since you're at the top of the hill, you can always tier both sides of it and have the middle one higher than the other two.
It kind of is tiered a little bit if
Yeah.
you look at like where the top of the road is. If you're coming from the road and you're going north, I mean, you got one area,
Yeah.
and it goes where the fields are, and then you'd have the bottom one. So
Yeah, but the water kind of just settles on that one because the baseball
hill
fields are
goes
then
down,
high.
yeah.
Yeah, but you'll be able to, when you redo those, put some actual drainage in,
Mhm.
you know,
I mean, yeah.
something, where it's not just sitting there and,
If the
Would you
court
guys
allows it.
would you guys want irrigation on these fields?
yes,
Yeah.
I would think
Irrigation on
so.
the fields?
I'm sure she would want it for
Just get a
sure.
splash part, just make a splash pad that irrigates it for you.
When you go to do the irrigation, speaking of for my daughter that played all over the country playing soccer, if you go on the sidelines, you got cleats hitting those and you don't think that they're going to show up. But actually, when it's say we have a drought that year and you're trying to pump water on it nonstop, you're going through it. How do I say this? I don't know that I'd recommend irrigation as much as it is. You looks nice and whatnot. It can cause problems in the long run, and especially if you don't have someone sloping the fields correctly on the crown or whatnot. That's why you have several spots are wholly wet or whatnot. Even out in Overland Park, they put an irrigation system in to cool down the turf, and I don't know that they even utilize that. But I don't know that I'd want to go through that cost of doing that because if you look at a lot of your soccer fields out there, even your college, some of your soccer fields are not irrigated.
I don't have anything to add to
Whatever makes
irrigation
it-
talk.
Let me ask ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Whatever makes it easier on you guys for maintenance, man.
Right, that's the main thing,
Yeah.
like where you're not.
Yeah, the ultimate. Yeah, I mean, we don't have a someone who's dedicated just to our sports fields.
Right,
We don't have a grounds crew team as well.
You definitely need water out at all this, right? Because you guys use the water truck now for a lot of stuff. Like we need to make sure that we run water lines. We do the electrical you need, like.
Also help keep like on if we don't get turf and we have to do.
the seating, like, you know what I mean, up here now, like, I haven't played this year that, there'd be one dead spot and you could just, they're just that's all they do. They just sit
We
there
were
digging the
fortunate to have
dirt.
the summer that we did with the rain, so fields are looking better than they used to.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's been out there. We're in week 8 technically with practices, and fields are you can start to see it.
The center was getting a little
Yeah.
dry when we played the other day, but we're done with our season now, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
It can grow now.
And you can rotate the field. So say those younger kids, the goalie box is always muddy and you're probably center part of it's always muddy. Next year you utilize it, you have more space, you can kind of rotate a little bit differently as well.
All right. Anybody, Leah, you have anything more?
She just wants mini golf,
No, I don't. I
18
like mini golf,
holes.
but I like fields better.
Yeah.
Priority, get some fields out there, make them of good quality
A
because
little
we're
bit
putting
of
the
couple
money
disc
in,
golf.
but also it needs to match what our need is. I don't think we need top of the line sports facilities here. We are only hosting, for the most part, recreational youth.
We don't need glass in the field. That's like the bare minimum, right, Matt? No more
Yeah.
broken glass.
Okay, yeah.
They used to have demolition derby out there. We had to keep taking dirt off to try to get past the broken glass we kept finding when we drag fields.
I don't like
No,
that.
I agree. I think the board's priority has always been serve the community first, and that's really what we have here. I mean, we're competing with Capital Federal.
Yeah,
then
safe,
we're also competing with-
safe, secure, and low maintenance.
We're getting in Liberty. They have them too, turf fields. So like, we would.
Yeah,
we would
if someone wants to do a tournament, they're gonna go there and there's
Yeah.
more
And
hotels.
Central Bank, they put in a restaurant already. They're putting in hotels. They're putting in a lot over there. We don't have
Yeah. that's
$200 million to spend.
think
Yep.
we need to.
Yeah.
That's not our wheelhouse.
Just say more parking than you may think, and then I don't know.
And even
then
like
if there's a
parking
parking that never
lights, it
gets
feels-
used, then.
But the
make
other thing
that the
too is
skate park.
even like
Goes
some of
another
those
direction.
some of those like further away lots, like it might be okay to make them gravel to start too, as we
True.
get, like, we don't
And the
need to have.
we're forgetting about the responsibility of Parks and Rec. Even on your programs, you're teaching the basics on to fundamentals of a sport. If you utilize,
Yeah.
they're probably, if they want to go higher to a higher level, they're going to go to the city regardless. So we're thinking about, we're teaching fundamentals and showing them how to play the sport. And if they utilize going to the south, they're going to do that anyway. So we have to think, like you said, think of our community and this is what Parks and Recs is doing, is they're starting little T-ballers out. They're showing them how to love the game first.
Mhm.
T-ballers. You should name it. You should change the name to T-ballers.
All right, well, I thank you that, and just in curious of time here, this helps a lot in kind of getting that on paper. Like I said, we're very early in this, but I want to, with us meeting quarterly, and obviously that can always change, but I just it's always good to hear kind of to start talking about this, because for the next 2 to 3 years, this is going to be the project. And so want to make sure you guys are aware of that. We're getting ready to start this, and over hopefully this next year in 26, we'll find an engineer or an architect in the direction the board wants to go. And with that comes the community feedback. And each person on this board is on the board to be the voice of the community. So we'll be getting this out, looking at designs, going through that process. But just kind of, if you're driving to a sports complex for a soccer game or a baseball game, just start thinking of those little things that you don't like or you do like, and kind of go from there. So.
Will we start meeting monthly when we start to get to bigger projects like that, you think?
I think it'll be needed.
Yeah.
And we'll just kind of go once we get that architect and kind of what the monthly meetings will look like and the planning on that. So.
I think that's a good idea.
So we'll meet again. Our next meeting will be the 4th Thursday in January.
Yeah, and along that same line, community surveys are going out. So be
Correct,
looking
yeah,
out for
thank
those
you.
in your mailbox to help provide some feedback. And then we have in budget a strategic plan update. So make sure you get your friends, family, neighbors to participate in that, because that's where we do pull for direction in the future. If they don't show up and tell us they want a skate park, we don't know that they need a skate park.
Yeah, that's a great point. Those surveys should be going out here shortly. They're important. And they come back to the city and we'll review that in a board meeting. And then, as he said, strategic plan is in the budget for 2026. So if you weren't a part of that in 2019, that's what got us to start having a Parks and Rec master plan and the tax, because in the strategic plan, recreation was one of the 4 key features that the community wanted the city to invest in. So.
And I know people want to complain that things move slow sometimes, but remember, Matt's only been here like 8 years now, 9 years. Right?
8 years.
8
going
years
on
now,
9.
August, right? And we went from having Liberty doing everything pretty much for us in the rec world to now we're talking about building ball fields. So in the next 8 years, imagine what we can get to
If we show the need most likely gets fed. So we got to keep doing that. Show the need.
Build it and they would come.
The surveys are electronic or mail?
So we send it in the mail, but it does have a link where you can fill it out online.
Right, okay.
And our sample size for a community of our size, we want to get to 300, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when it comes to statistical analysis, if 300 households fill it out, it doesn't matter if it's 300 or 3,000, we're gonna get the same percentages.
Yeah.
But 300 is the statistical number we need to get to.
Is that a separate thing or does that come with the water bill?
No, it's separate
Or
thing.
Separate thing?
Yep, it should be, like last time, I think they're bright yellow.
Okay.
So keep an eye out for it, say from ETC Institute, it's mailed out of Olathe, it's not it's local mail, yeah. And then strategic plan, we'll do similar thing, we'll put out to everybody, let them know when we're gonna do sessions. And one of the things I'm really excited about to see in the strategic plan is to see how many, cause the last time we made all the high school history classes do the strategic plan survey stuff.
Oh, nice.
And now go find some of those that are graduated,
Taking.
if they're still in the community, see if what now their priority is from, in high school it was just they want Chick-fil-A. Now it's like maybe they want Chipotle. I don't know.
They got a
but-
Burger King. They got a Burger King and a Taco Bell. What else do you want?
Okay, anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
Second, all in favor?
I
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thanks, Shauna.
Thank you, guys.